people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Skye Nicholson is set for an April date in her native Australia. Skye Nicholson is set to return to the ring in Australia in April. The 30-year-old southpaw from Queensland, Australia, has won 3 in a row since the only loss of her career to Tiara Brown in March of 2025. Tiara, who has since paired up with MVP, while Nicholson lost her WBC featherweight crown in the process but dropped down to junior feather and stopped 2 of her next 3 opponents while boxing in England, Australia, and California. Nicholson, now advised by Sam Jones, is set to return to trainer Bradley Skye and Eddie Lamb ahead of her bout in April. That loss to Tiara Brown, it was hurtful and it was not good, but Skye went away and she's completely changed. New team, new nutritionist now. She's doing so well dropping down in weight, and her last couple of performances have been unbelievable, and she's a different fighter now, said Skeet. She's also changed her decorum, that is her place of residence, where I think she was living in the United Kingdom for a while. She's now moved to Dubai, baby! Skeet, Skye's trainer, was a good former pro junior middle who also works with Fran Hennessy. He is full of praise for Nicholson and believes her best days lie in front of her. She'll go on and win world titles at Super Bantam, and if the opportunity comes, she will get that rematch with Tiara and right it, said Skeet. She's getting better and better now. Comes to a rematch with Tiara, time is on Skye Nicholson's side in the sense that Tiara is already some years older than her. She's approaching 40, whereas Skye, I believe, is in her early 30s. So if they time it right, she can get her revenge. But we're not on the eve of that now. They're separated by weight. Tiara's still at 126, where she's got the WBC title. Skye's down at 122, where she's got the WBC interim. The confidence was always there. The strength was there. She's getting knocked a lot for not being strong. Skye's always been strong, but she's obviously been competing at the wrong weight. So she's boxed at a very high level and winning world titles at featherweight when she was really a super bantam. So you're going to see the best of her, and I believe she'll go on and win world titles at Super Bantam and go back up and get that rematch with Tiara and right the wrong. Nicholson's victory over Yuli Hangaluna in December earned her the interim WBC Super Bantamweight title. She has made little secret of her desire to fight the champion, Ellie Scottney. Her promoters, Matchroom, meanwhile, are preparing to move back into the Australian fight market, and Matchroom Boxing's CEO told Boxing Scene he expected to see Nicholson in a world title fight next. Against who? Really not sure, since both Ellie Scottney and Mikaelian Flores are supposed to be spoken for. They're supposed to be having the undisputed title fight between each other. Would tie up all 4 alphabet titles in the super bantamweight division, in the featherweight division. Well, I don't think it's going to be Amanda Serrano traveling to Australia to fight Skye Nicholson. I don't think it's going to be Tiara Brown either. She just signed to MVP. It's not going to be them. Doesn't look like it's going to be Nina Menka either, reigning IBF champion. She's got a fight on schedule in her native Germany against the Dominican Republic's own Diana Vargas in March, which we talked about in a previous video. If Skye is set to fight for a full title in her next fight, I don't know whose it's going to be. What we do know is Matchroom is closing in on an 8-show Fox Australia deal. The partnership being finalized between Matchroom and Fox Sports in Australia is for 8 shows per year, which includes 4 regular cards and up to 4 pay-per-view events. Their Aussie stable includes George Kambosos, Justice Hooney, Tira Moana, Connor Wallace, Jake Wiley, and of course, Skye Nicholson, who now will be able to base herself and her fights out of her native Australia. She's boxed all around the world, in the United Kingdom, the United States. I believe she boxed once in Mexico and once in Saudi Next fight is in Australia. So, I mean, we know when Skye's going to be fighting, and we know where she's going to be fighting, but we don't know who. Not yet. I would call it ironic that Matchroom would have inked this deal to do more shows in Australia at a time where they just lost, arguably, the best Australian boxer in boxing right now, Skye Opetaia. It was Eddie Hearn who said quite plainly that he just couldn't deliver for Skye Opetaia. Just couldn't get him what he needed, what he wanted. Those unification matches, Skye himself echoed that sentiment when he spoke to IFL TV.
I don't know if you've seen my interview with Eddie Hearn, but I interviewed him and I asked him about losing you from the stable, a potential pound for pound great, and he said that he just couldn't deliver for you. Did you feel that at the time, that he wasn't able to deliver the big nights for Skye Opetaia?
Yeah, pretty much, bro. Like, we've made it very clear that we've been chasing undisputed for a long time. You know, we've been chasing these unification fights, and you know they're still yet to happen. So, you know, we've sort of drifted off into a different direction to make these things happen, and I'm very confident that we're getting closer and closer. So.
When you spoke to Zuffa Boxing, what was different about them compared to other promoters like Matchroom? What was the difference?
They pretty much guaranteed a few things, you know what I mean, that other promoters couldn't.
He says they were able to guarantee a few things that other promoters couldn't. I don't think that's exclusive to getting him unification matches. I think it also refers to what he's getting paid now. Word on the street was that for Skye Opetaia's last 3 fights, all of which took place in Australia, he really didn't make very much. Now with Zuffa behind him, they're promising him more. More money, and a shot at the unification matches that have been escaping him. Though before it comes to that, he's set for his Zuffa boxing debut against America's own Brendan Glanton on March 8th. Australia's Skye Opetaia is close to finalizing terms to fight Brendan Glanton on March 8th in the first date of his co-promotional agreement with Zuffa Boxing. The IBF Cruiserweight champion followed his stoppage of Hussein Sin Cara in December on a Tasman Fighters promotion by agreeing terms to become Zuffa's most significant recruit, and is set to follow doing so by fighting the 33-year-old Glanton. It had previously been speculated that he would confront the WBC champion Noel Mikaelian in a unification title fight, because they had the both of them stage a face-off at Zuffa's first card. Las Vegas is the likeliest destination for what might yet be a non-title fight, but there is no question of it not being staged in the US, regardless of Opetaia's popularity in his home country. Glanton lost to Chris Billum-Smith via decision in April before stopping Marcus Brown in 6 rounds in Lagos, Nigeria in October. Opetaia, 30, successfully defended his title 3 times last year when earning stoppages of David Naika, Claudio Sequeio, and Hussein Sin Cara. "I'm with Zuffa Boxing now," he said, when his latest career move was announced in January. "I'm pumped for the future. Exciting times, man. Let's get these big fights over the line. Unification and undisputed too. Let's go." But will the IBF allow Skye Opetaia to fight in a non-title fight? I vaguely recall them having a rule against that. And we all know the IBF are sticklers for their rules. They are the strictest sanctioning body of the 4 major sanctioning bodies. Why would Skye Opetaia's next fight have to be a non-title fight when he's already satisfied his mandatory obligation in Hussein Sin Cara, and he wouldn't be due to satisfy another one for at least another 12 months? So why would his next fight with Brendan Glanton have to be billed as a non-title fight? It's not necessary. I think what most people are wondering is what happened to Noel Mikaelian? What happened to the Noel Mikaelian fight? It's supposed to be a big deal that you finally get Skye a unification match where Matchroom could not. Brendan Glanton, God bless him, coming off a win, isn't that far a cry from the kind of guys that Skye has been fighting in Claudio Sequeio and David Naika, more recently Hussein Sin Cara. He's just a guy. The hope has got to be that beyond this Brendan Glanton fight and Skye's Zuffa debut, they will schedule the Noel Mikaelian fight. Now, maybe the reason they haven't yet is because they're finalizing Noel's deal. Maybe Noel will also migrate to Zuffa. Maybe he'll box on this undercard to introduce himself to the American audience, to introduce them both. That'd be smart on their part to have both champions box on the same show. I've seen Zuffa's first 2 cards, and admittedly, I've liked what I've seen. It's boxing for boxing. The second one was better than the first. I expected it to be, and on that trajectory, I expect that the cards will start to get better, and Zuffa's overall vision for what they want to do will become more clear over time. They're just getting started, and Rome wasn't built in a day, but they already have all the makings of what could be a major player in the sport, more particularly in the U.S. boxing scene, because they, unlike the PBC, and unlike Top Rank, at least momentarily, they've got fight dates and a lot of money. A lot of fighters waiting for a slot. I only wonder if Matchroom made the right decision jettisoning Skye Opetaia, because come to find out, it wasn't that Skye Opetaia left them, and it wasn't that he was poached by Zuffa, it was that they cut him loose. They didn't offer him a new deal. According to Eddie Hearn, he just couldn't do anything for him. So that you can then turn around and ink a 8-fight deal with Fox Australia to do 8 shows this calendar year in the region. I think having Skye Opetaia in your stable would have helped with that. Skye's a more accomplished fighter than anybody in Matchroom's stable right now. He's a 2-time IBF champion. And now is when you decide to cut him loose? When you're going to be doing more shows in the region. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Just imagine that if Skye were still with them, he's still over there, he could have become the face of their boxing content in the region, the flagship fighter for Fox. Matchroom has struggled over the years to gain footing in the Australian boxing scene, and now it finally seems that they're getting somewhere, and now is when you decided to jettison the best Australian fighter in the roster? Seems fucking stupid. Downstairs in men's lightweight news, when it rains, it pours for former champion Gervonta Davis, who violated his probation, and as a result, a Baltimore judge has issued another arrest warrant. The one we've been talking about for the last 2-3 weeks was in Florida. This one's in Baltimore. A Baltimore judge has issued an arrest warrant for Gervonta Davis on grounds that he violated his probation 1 week after he was arrested in Miami on allegations of domestic violence. Circuit Judge Althea M. Hendy issued the warrant on Monday, according to the Baltimore County Court database. Davis, 31, was on probation for a November 2020 hit-and-run in Baltimore that injured 4 people. He received 90 days of house arrest, 3 years of probation, and 200 hours of community service. He later served 44 days in jail, where he belongs. For violating the terms of his home detention, Davis's latest legal issues stem from accusations of attacking his ex-girlfriend, Courtney Russell, on October 27th of last year at a strip club in Miami, where she had been working as a VIP cocktail server. Russell filed a civil suit days after the incident, which forced Davis out of his November fight with Jake Paul. Now, where this civil suit became a criminal case is when the authorities in the region reviewed CCTV from the strip club showing Gervonta Davis physically assaulting the woman, and thus a warrant for his arrest was issued on January 14th on charges of battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping, but it took 2 weeks to track the boxer down. Miami Gardens Police Department and the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force conducted a 3-county surveillance operation to find Davis, taking him into custody last Wednesday night without incident in the Miami Design District. He has to have known there was a warrant issued out for his arrest. Word travels fast, especially these days with the advent of social media, that there's no way he didn't know this was hanging over his head. Why didn't he just turn himself in? Because he's stupid.
Hi, Mr. Davis. Good morning, sir. Mr. Davis, you are ordered to stay away from the alleged victim. Also, no contact with the victim, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. Do you understand the stay away order, sir?
Yes.
Attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, and battery.
Where their alleged victim has lied to them in an effort to try and extort money out of somebody. This case is going absolutely nowhere. The police officer who investigated this was lied to blatantly.
Objection. A judge has already found probable cause. All I'm asking is, Your Honor, leave the bond and issue the stay away order.
I understand this is not my first day.
It would seem that the defense is arguing that this is a case of extortion and Gervonta Davis is in fact innocent. But if there is in fact CCTV that shows the incident as it happened on the night, cries of extortion will not help. Now, last week, Davis was released the same day after he was picked up posting an $8,500 bond and ordered to not have any contact with Russell. This latest development would indicate there is yet another warrant out for his arrest in his native Baltimore, and he will have to answer to that in reference to this, because this case, if proven, constitutes a violation of his probation, which we've already discussed here on the channel with our legal expert, Real Talk. In real time, Gervonta Davis could end up doing some, and I think that's just starting to dawn on what have been his supporters, like the people over there at World Boxing News who say Tank's career hangs in the balance. With offers drying up and mounting legal problems, speculation is again rife that Gervonta Davis will never fight again. Tank admitted that he wanted to retire last year and only took the Jake Paul fight for the payday. It could all be over now at 31. So close to the finish line, at the time that this incident is said to have occurred, the Jake Paul fight was already announced, already been promoted, it was already underway, and this bozo does this. Because he's too stupid for his own good, and I've said as much for years now here on the channel, that anybody would look at a human piece of garbage like Gervonta Davis as any kind of a role model, anything to aspire to, a success story. You would have to be as dumb as he looks, or as dumb as he is, because he's a fucking moron. Spare me the contrite inner city street kid sob story. Do you understand that most boxes in the sport of boxing come from the ghetto? Different ghettos around the world, in Mexico, in America, different parts of Asia and Eastern Bloc, Europe, the United Kingdom. Do you understand that most of the boxers, damn near all of the ones you're watching, come from somebody's ghetto? That there's nothing unique or special about Gervonta's ghetto, Gervonta's story. So I don't want to hear about how he's a troubled inner city youth, because he's not a youth, he's 31, he's a grown fucking man. Not really grown. But he is a fucking man, not a child, not a teen or a tween, none of it. Not a teenager, a guy 31 years old. Still getting in trouble for the same fucking thing, the same thing we've been seeing for years, that you're not going to convince me he's innocent. And I don't think that he can beat this one on a technicality, because you were already serving 3 years probation. The official police report that was detailed in an article weeks ago said they reviewed the CCTV footage, and you can see Gervonta Davis. You can see him walk into that establishment, put his hands on that girl, drag her outside, and try to throw her in the car. Sounds like a slam dunk. He's gonna do some kind of time for this. It's just a question of how much. Enough that his career is over. In truth, I think his career was already over as of last year, or at least he wanted it to be, that he was never going to fight Shakur or Teofimo or Devin, that the only fights left out there for Gervonta Davis to make any kind of real money were the ones he didn't want. So in hindsight, boxing isn't losing anything in Gervonta Davis. His career was already done.